Today, on how it's made. Bacon. We'll have all the sizzling details from the production line. Snowblowers. These machines have the white stuff. And luxury cars. Fully loaded for the truly loaded. We'll have a special 2-part report on how they make a Rolls-Royce. When it comes to breakfast, bacon is the order of the day, or at least the side order. Bacon's popularity actually goes back centuries, when people cured and smoked it in their own homes. But today, you simply have to go to the store and bring home the bacon. Bacon is now processed and even pre-cooked in factories, where things move along crisply. They start with a load of pork bellies. They toss them around in a big tumbler, and the action softens them, so it will be easier to remove the skins. They place each pork belly skin side down on a conveyor belt. The conveyor takes the pork bellies to a long automated blade which slices the skin away from the meat. The skins drop onto another conveyor belt. They're on their way to being processed into pork rinds, a snack food. Meanwhile, the meat pieces head in another direction, towards a flipping device. It turns them backside up, so workers down the line can trim off any remaining pieces of skin. Next, they make a brine solution to cure the pork. This involves funneling salt into a tank of water and mixing it thoroughly to dissolve the salt particles. They add liquid smoke and other flavorings to the curing solution. The pork bellies now pass under an injector head. It's equipped with numerous needles that repeatedly inject the curing solution into each pork belly. They press the prongs of a metal hanger called a comb into the pork bellies and hang them on a rack. Then it's into the drench cabinet for a shower in liquid smoke. As liquid smoke bombards the meat, it adds flavor and color to the surface. They transfer the pork bellies into a big oven. They spend about 5 hours in here cooking at a low temperature, which allows the flavoring to permeate the meat. Now it's into a blast freezer for a quick chill down, then into another cooler for a couple of days. The cooling firms the meat, which makes it easier to slice. The pork bellies head to a sizing station, where knives trim all sides. They also pass under a metal detector here to confirm that pieces of the metal hanger haven't become lodged in the meat. After that, they stack and wrap the pork bellies and store them in a freezer until they're ready to slice them into bacon. This is called the slice line. Here, they load the meat slabs into chutes. The chutes sway back and forth over a blade to slice the meat into bacon-sized pieces. The bacon falls neatly onto a conveyor belt. Another conveyor belt rolls over the bacon slices to secure them while they cook in a very long microwave. As the fat cooks off the bacon, it drains into a trough. It will be used to make gravy and pet foods. The cooked bacon now exits the microwave oven and comes under the watchful eye of the inspector. She discards slices that are broken or not up to par. These wheels then roll the browned bacon slices onto parchment paper. A tiny electronic eye keeps track of the numbers. Finally, they stack the bacon for packaging. Now that's a job well done. Time to put the coffee on and scramble up some eggs. Snowblowers first came on the market in the 1950s, and before long, this alternative to shoveling really snowballed. Today's machines come in a range of sizes, from smaller models with 26cc engines to 50cc machines a meter wide that can plow through deep snow. A snowblower's rotating blades are called augers. The left and right augers spiral in opposite directions in order to move snow toward the middle. There, a fan called an impeller swallows the snow and blows it out a chute. Each auger starts out as a blank, a partially formed steel disc about 3 millimeters thick. This press finalizes the shape with about 200 tons of pressure. The bigger the snowblower, the bigger its augers. The press forms the left and right augers at the same time. Then a blast of air ejects them onto separate conveyor belts. Next step, workers take a steel tube called a hub and mount it upright on an assembly jig. Then they take an auger and center it on the hub. The hub and auger then travel on a conveyor belt to a robotic welder. The robot fuses the two pieces into a single unit. Elsewhere in the factory, workers construct the steel housing that'll encase the augers. This housing consists of 4 parts: a cup to hold the impeller, a back piece with a hole for the cup, and 2 side plates. This bar aligns the pieces in a holder. First, everything turns upside down, enabling a robot to access the back and weld the cup to the back piece. Then it flips right side up again, so the robot can weld on the side plates. Total construction time, 55 seconds. The housings now undergo an electrostatic paint process. Powder paint laced with a positive electrical charge is drawn like a magnet to the housings, which are laced with a negative charge. Workers inspect the coat and do any necessary touch-ups. Then the housings spend 15 minutes in an oven to bake on the paint. In another part of the factory, workers have bolted a gas-powered engine to a painted steel frame. Inside this frame, they assemble the transmission parts, the gear system that transfers power from the engine to the snowblower's wheels and augers. After bolting on the impeller, that black component in the back, they attach a large steel axle to the transmission-driven sprocket. Then they slide the now painted auger and hub units onto this axle. Now the housing arrives. Workers bolt the auger assembly into it. The impeller slides into the cup that's centered at the back of the housing. Then they screw the housing to the transmission frame. The last component is the snowblower's handle, which carries the control panel. There's a lever for selecting different speeds, and clutch levers you can lock down to direct the wheels and augers. There's also a headlight, so that you'll be visible to oncoming cars while clearing snow at night or on a snowy day. And of course, there's a lever you move to choose the direction in which you want to blow the snow. If you have one of these cars, you may also have a chauffeur, and you travel in privileged circles. A luxury vehicle like this one costs more than an average house in many cities. But a house is just a place to live. And you can really live it up if you have a car like this. As long as there have been cars, there have been models that go the extra mile when it comes to perks and performance. For many, the car they drive is a measure of their personal success, and you don't get much more successful than a Rolls-Royce. These cars start with a hand-welded aluminum body shell that's rigid yet lightweight. Workers handcraft the components for the lavish interior. This gadget stitches wooden sheets together with glue. The veneers have been cut from the same piece of wood. They match the grain, so each side is a mirror image of the other. The technique is called book matching, and the look is seamless luxury. There are 40 or more solid wooden parts in the interior of the Rolls. These ones are for the dashboard. They hand finish each of these parts. They meticulously polish the wood with special paste to enhance the grain. A lacquer job puts a shine on the woodwork. They scrutinize leather for any natural defects and mark them in white. They'll work around those blemishes, so no imperfections will be visible on the interior upholstery. It will take as many as 18 hides to make all the seats, panels, and consoles. They carefully stretch leather pieces onto various components and set the fit with a dryer. Ensuring the sewn leather parts conform to all the curves and crevices on the door panels can be a bit tricky. But these workers, some of them former saddle makers, are expert at the job. They mount the upholstered leather parts to the car interior and secure them tightly with screws. They fit handles and control panels into the tailored slots. Next, they attach switches, wiring, and other controls to the instrument carrier. This framework has been crafted from a single piece of magnesium, so there aren't any squeaky joints. The imposing radiator grille has a purpose besides bringing in cool air. It houses the signature hood mascot and its automated platform. They test the platform to confirm that it rises and retracts. Then they mount it just under an opening at the top of the grille through which the car mascot will be able to rise. They check the spacing around the cover for the opening to make sure there's enough room for things to run smoothly. The mascot is called the Spirit of Ecstasy. With the mascot in proud position, they're ready to assemble the mechanics of the rolls. So stay tuned. This Rolls-Royce is looking good. The body shell has the long lines of luxury. It's been equipped with flawless leather upholstery and elegant wooden paneling. Plush and posh, this car is now ready for some serious engine power. It's bumper-to-bumper opulence at this factory as these cars queue up to receive their engines. They install soundproofing material on the floor of the car to muffle engine noise. Then they run the wiring loom along the length of the vehicle. This is the nervous system of the car. It transmits huge amounts of information to help run the engine, transmission, even the car's entertainment system. Next, they hoist the engine and transmission system onto a large metal platform. This V12 engine has 400 plus horsepower. With the engine system on the platform, they complete the assembly and make some adjustments. It's time for the engine and car body to become one, so they call this the marriage. It's a dramatic sight as the platform rolls the engine down an aisle to be joined in mechanical matrimony. The platform lifts the engine into the cavity of the car. They secure it with bolts. They lower the platform and it retreats to receive an engine for the next car. They double-check the installation and mark parts with yellow to confirm that they've been fitted. The engine now installed, it's time for this car to move on to the next steps. They mount the instrument control panel to the dashboard and cushion it on top with upholstered leather. Next, they fit the stunning veneer paneling around the dashboard controls. They install the head lining, made of cashmere and wool. They check the hydraulic coffee cup holders in the rear of the car, but it's not quite time for coffee yet. They install 2 batteries, one for the engine, the other for the cabin controls. They fasten a rocker cover to the engine to stifle any noise. They hook up a large air intake system because optimum engine function requires a lot of airflow. There'll be no fingerprints on this windshield. After they wipe it clean, they use a pulley system with suction cups to lower it onto the car. They tape it to allow the adhesive to set and measure it to ensure a perfect fit. Next, they install the wheel arch liners. These hefty guards will protect the car body from mud, gravel, and debris. Finally, they mount the wheels. And this car is ready to roll with the high rollers. It takes several weeks to assemble a Rolls-Royce, compared to the day or two it takes to manufacture an ordinary vehicle. That's why one of these will set you back a princely sum. But if you have a big rainy day fund, this could be one way to spend it.